del libro de Simu Liu. Estoy muy emocionada. Voy un poquito tarde. Como voy sobre el tiempo. Pero sí, estoy muy emocionada, de verdad. Y las nubes obviamente que están hermosas, como siempre. Y tengo que estar pendiente al volante, pero es un largo camino el que tengo que recorrer desde donde yo vivo hasta donde es la conferencia. Y el cielo se ve hermoso. Se ve hermoso el cielo.
Miles, take exit 12 for Mission Boulevard West.
Tengo que salir de la cámara. ¡Pucha! ¡He llegado! Se ve re oscuro. Se ve re oscuro, pero ya llegué. Ya estoy a una cuadra en donde está Simu. Ya me salió un nombre ahí en la cartelera. Ahora me toca buscar un parqueadero. Pero ahí está la cartelera. Y solo tengo que buscar dónde parquear. Ay. Bueno, nos vamos a parquear al lado del Tesla como para que se confundan. Pucha, pero estos parqueaderos están hechos para carros de payasos porque no. Padre santo. Ahí está el Tesla. Ahí bien pegadito ahí al fondo. ¿Qué? Ahora salgo corriendo porque mira, y son las 8, son las 9 y Simu comienza a las 9. Yo soy mi fanaticada por Simu Liu. En todo el camino me escuché los 2 últimos capítulos como por 4ª vez porque tengo el audiolibro. Entonces ahora me voy. 5 minutos tarde, llegué 5 minutos tarde, sí.
Yeah, so it was actually my favorite chapter to write in the entire book is chapter 3. And
it's not the one where that's not the book. The last chapter, you know, when you say you meet me and we. You even prepared boba for me. You remember that?
I do remember that. I was so nervous to meet you. We'll get to that. I think we should definitely talk about how nervous I was to meet you for the first time, just because of how much you meant to me and to everyone. But
so his second favorite chapter.
The second favorite chapter was the one of my mother.
No, I'm not even gonna do that because I'm gonna get yelled at.
So the title of the chapter is The Frog and the Swan, which I love because it refers to this Chinese kind of proverb or idiom, and it roughly, this is my Mandarin's terrible, so please forgive me, but it's roughly 癞蛤蟆想吃天鹅, which if anybody here speaks Mandarin knows, it's like the frog at the bottom of the well that looks up at a swan that is flying overhead and is like, I don't know if swans fly, that's a terrible, don't quote me on that, but it's like, and wants to eat the swan. You know, and it's kind of an allegory for these unrealistic ambitions. And when my mom was working in the fields, basically during the Cultural Revolution, there was no post-secondary education. So when you graduated from high school, you would for most kids anyway, you would go off into the fields and you would work. And when my mom was basically 2 years into her work in the fields, the Gaokao, the university entrance exam, was finally reinstated. So this was her shot. She was studying every day to kind of take this exam, but there were people all around her were kind of just like, what are you doing? You're so, like, if you think that you have a shot to attend university, because truthfully, the odds were stacked against her. They were just like, you're a frog. You're a frog at the bottom of a well, and you think you can eat a swan? Like, get over yourself, was kind of my mom was kind of battling that energy. But like what you said, Jeremy, she understood her shot. She understood that she had to take it, and so she just never let herself be distracted. And it was that energy that allowed her to test high enough that she was admitted to university, and that became her ticket to a better life. Because as she was getting, basically taken away by tractor to get to go to her new life, the rest of her farm, I guess, her work camp, kind of all came out to watch her. And it was that moment of like, yeah, the frog ate the swan. Because she believed that she could, I feel like so much of that just speaks to permission, and it's a lesson that years and years later, I would learn, but in a completely different context as, somebody who was laid off as an accountant and was, rock bottom trying to figure himself out. But I had this opportunity to become an actor. I really just stumbled upon it. You know, I literally just checked Craigslist and then found myself on the set of this movie all of a sudden as an extra. But you know, it really, once I was able to articulate my dream and give myself the permission to pursue it, that you know, it was almost like what anybody said around me, including my own parents, it just ceased to matter, because the goal became the only thing that was important to me, was the only thing to focus on, and it was enough. That dream and that passion just carried me forward every single day and put one step in front of the other until today, basically.
Talk about what you're saying in there about the premiere, the night of the premiere, and that empty feeling that you felt.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you know as well as I do, fame is a weird thing, and it's an unnatural thing to experience for a human being. And you know, the night of the Shang-Chi premiere in August of last year, I brought like my parents, I brought 40 of my friends. It was like, you know, it's such a big celebration for you know, for myself, for everybody involved in the movie, for the entire community of people who had never seen themselves represented in that way. And you know, I just remember my energy just slowly being taken over the course of the night, and feeling like at this point where I felt like I should have been at my most joyful. It was hard, and it wasn't anybody's fault. I don't want to fault anybody. It was just, I think, just fame and being elevated onto that platform is just such an uncomfortable feeling, and it's like having the lights on you and feeling like all you want to do is kind of like shrivel away and just kind of be alone and recharge, you know. And I'm an extrovert. I know I think you're more introverted than I am, but I'm an extrovert, and I was like, I didn't want to see people for like a week after. It's a tough thing, and by the way, nobody, like, there's no like 3-hour instructional video that you can watch on Fame. Like, that you don't sign up for a class and you sit down and they're like, okay, here's what you need to know. This is when you say yes to a photo. This is when you say no to a photo. This is when, you know, it's like when somebody from the media approaches you and asks you this is what they really mean. This is how to answer questions in a neutral way. This is how to steer, you know, and all of these things are things that we just have to pick up. And oftentimes we're missing, it's trial by fire, we're, you know, figuring it out as we go. And it's oftentimes really hard to like keep everything together when that's all happening, you know. But like I said before, I'm very grateful that I got to see you go through it on a much kind of bigger level, and I feel like that's an immense comfort to me. And as far as how I keep the joy, I mean, you guys saw Chris Kim come on and open for me. He's one of my best friends, and kind of bringing people along for the journey and getting to do it with them and to help uplift them and to you know, share my platform and watch other people succeed, truly, like, there's no greater joy. There's no greater joy for me than that, and you know, projecting that out into the future of my career, like, I want to be able to, yes, you know, I want to continue to act, I want to continue to play Shang-Chi, but I also want to take a producerial role where I get to create opportunities for other people, and I get to, you know, have a say in the stories that are being told, because, you know, we're making progress. We've made potentially more progress in the last 5 years than we ever have in Hollywood and society, but you know, there's still, I think, a long way to go, and you know, I think we have a lot of responsibility individually just to continue to invest in this idea of an Asian America and to continue to build it out into the you know, a thriving and deep well of culture that I know it can be.
And that is why I love Simu, because at the peak of everything he was going through, he went back and retold his family story. He talks about, on the night of the biggest premiere, him giving so much to other people, and then in the same breath, he can say, I'm still trying to give back to the people around me. Do you guys understand? Do you guys see that? Like he is basically saying, like, even though the world thinks it's all about me right now, I'm trying to make it about other people, because at the end of the day, it is about other people. It's about the community. It's about the next generation. It is about other people's stories. He wants to be a producer to tell other people's stories. He's not in it for himself, trying to increase his clout and trying to make him the lead role of every last thing. Do you guys like?
I mean, that would be nice. That would be nice. Let's be real. That would be no. There's no complaints from me.
But I'm serious. Like that's why I'm so happy for him. That's why I'm sitting here. Like that's why I support him, because I know where his heart is at, and that's important for everybody listening here. As we all go back, we all have, and that's the thing. People think you have to get to 1 million followers, or you got to get that check, or you got to be a lead role, or whatever. You got to get verified. No, every single person here, you have your own sphere of influence, and you have people around you that you can uplift, and you have other stories that you can share with other people, and you can make your life not about yourself. That's a huge part of, and that's why I said, like, dude, you're developing and maturing so fast, and like, it's been amazing to see what you're doing, how you bring your crew around you, how you're like intentional about all the little things that you're doing to uplift your friends, Asian America, like everything. And so, I don't know, I just went on a little thing there, but let's give it up to Simu.
Our stories, but also the world and the society around us minimized our existence, you know, and I say, like, enough of that. It's time for us to build a home for ourselves. We deserve to feel like we belong, and with people like Jeremy kind of, you know, paving the way, it's like showing, we hope that we both individually show you guys what it means to stand in your spotlight, to take up your space, to be unapologetic about who you are, what you stand for, and feeling like nobody has the right to tell you that you don't belong. You know, so that's what We Were Dreamers is all about. And anything to add on that?
Man, I just wish, I just want to like almost copy what you had said the last time about just giving yourself permission, right? And this, it's the word dream. I think we were dreamers, right? It's this word dream. Like, the way you broke it down, man, do you want to just do it? You want to just break it down again? Just talk about what the word dream means, and to talk about your next dream. I know you touched on it a little bit, but it was just so good last time. I don't even want to try to replicate it. It's just this concept.
All right, I think I'll start with something like this. Our parents worked so hard for us, right? And we all know that. They're entitled to our gratitude forever. They're entitled to our unconditional love and support always. They're not entitled to our dreams. As much as they want to focus us, and as much as they want to nurture us and mold us into these perfect beings, they are not entitled to our dreams. Our dreams are ours and ours alone. And you need to realize that, like, for many of you guys, there's a dream deep down that you have. You know, maybe you've announced it to the world, maybe you haven't, maybe you're sitting on it, maybe you're eating it every single day. Well, you're sitting in front of two people who made their dreams their reality. And for both of us, I think it started with giving ourselves permission. I never did that as a kid growing up. I loved movies, I loved show business, I loved like storytelling, but I was like, what if I were to tell my parents I wanted to be an actor, I would have gotten slapped. You know, and I'm sure there was a point before your growth spurt, where you were like, if you were like, I want to be in the NBA, your parents would have been like, yeah, okay,
they were
go
like,
do your homework.
不能靠篮球吃饭.
Yeah, you can't eat.
Actually, you can.
So just if you're feeling like there's a dream within you right now that you haven't announced to the world. Anybody want to put up your hand? You don't have to announce it. You just need to know that there is a dream. I'm not going to make you do it in front of everyone. Let's get up there.
Yeah, unapologetically. He's saying if you have a dream, go ahead and
I'm holding you accountable to acknowledge that dream to yourself, no matter how unreasonable it may feel or seem, or how afraid you are of judgment to the people around you. But you're making a commitment to me right now that you're going to own that dream. Own that dream. It doesn't mean you have to quit your job tomorrow, but own that you have that and take pride in that. This is who you are. And your parents worked so hard so that they didn't work so hard so you could grow up here miserable, living a life of regret that you never pursued that which you truly wanted to, you know? So get out there. Give yourself permission. Bring your dreams out from beneath you, so that you can't eat it anymore. Put it out into the world so that you can react to it, so that people around you can see it and react to it. And go get her.
And I asked him, I said, what is your dream? What is your dream now that you've accomplished so much? And he touched on it very quickly, but to reiterate it, because we're going to speak it into existence, and we need all of you guys here to back him and continue to back him and to back him through and through in this movie, in the next movie, in the next movie, all the way through, because you guys got to see, you guys got as close of a look to who Simu Liu is as anybody else in the world through what he shared tonight, like that type of vulnerability, right? And so, he talked about one of the dreams that he's going now is to be a producer, to be able to tell other people's stories, to be able to control, not just, hey, Simu, you come in and then you fit into what we have slotted for you. Here's your role, here's your lines, and this is all we want from you. Thank you, see you. But he wants to be able to be a part of the creative and to be able to amplify and uplift the voices of other people, especially the voices of the community. That is one of his big dreams. And so we're going to speak this into existence today. We're going to continue to support him in that. And we're going to watch him do his thing. Thank you.
I think you should share yours too, just real quick before we go, because I know we're super over, but I loved what you said about your dream too. So tell the world, tell these people what you.
So
you want to speak.
No, about a year and a half ago, Patricia Sun, who's the CEO of everything I do off the court, she was like, I need a vision. She said I need a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. Right? And this is this dream, right? It's like a business term. There's literally like conferences and stuff around BHAG, right? So sorry, it's just like a businessy term. But she's like, I need this dream, essentially, right? And I couldn't figure it out, and now I gave her bits and pieces. She's like, it's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not specific enough, I need more, I need more, I need more. She was peppering me for basically a year. And finally we came down to, if I could do anything 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, if I could have my dream, if I could accomplish one thing, is to redefine love for the next generation. And the reason why I chose that is because I feel like love is something that is just thrown around, like, show love, I love you, I love this, oh yeah, so much love, all love. Like, love is just like, but I don't really think sometimes we don't understand the depths of what love means, right? Love to me is not, I love you because you are good at this. Love is, I love you despite all these imperfections about who you are. And if we can do that for the next generation, if we can do that for the marginalized, if we do that for the kid growing up in poverty, to the point where, again, what does love look like for a kid in poverty? It's not, here, I'm gonna throw you a check and I'm gonna expect the foundation to, put me on their guest list or put me on their whatever. Like, no, I'm gonna actually walk with this kid through everything he goes through, and I'm gonna help support. Like, that to me is another level of love from the philanthropic world. Like, there's so many different levels of systemic love that I'm trying to figure out which are the ones that I really want to go at, so the next generation doesn't have to deal with some of the obstacles that we did and our parents did. And so, again, I'm not gonna take up too much more time. That's my big dream. But yeah.
Much time.
So thank you guys. You guys were amazing. Everybody here but Wyman. Have a great night.
Everybody except for Wyman.
Get home
Thank
safe.
you guys. You guys are great.
Ahí voy a estar.